Hello, this is Kevin Alexander, sales engineer with Upchain. The intention of this video is to give the viewer a sense of large assembly performance within Upchain. So here we are in the web browser, and this assembly here, Big SW for Big SolidWorks, this assembly's got about 10,000 components. We'll open that in a moment in SolidWorks. And then I've got another assembly where I took that assembly, the 10,000 part assembly, and cloned it, or basically copied it into the master assembly 10 times, which of course means we've got about 100,000 components in that assembly. And of course, if you look at the visual there, the viewer, you can see that basically I took that assembly and put it in there 10 times. So let's crank up SolidWorks. We're just going to start it from scratch. So nothing in RAM, nothing, nothing like that. I'm going to go ahead and log into my Upchain environment, like so. And I'm going to activate the project called Large Assembly SolidWorks. And first, we'll start with the 10,000 part assembly, which is this guy here, the big SolidWorks assembly. Again, you can see the visual down here, but let's go ahead and open this. Now, I'm going to click open, and then I'm going to click a timer. So I'm going to click open right now. I'm going to click the timer. I'm going to pause the recording so that you don't have to wait for this to load here. So one moment. Okay, going to hit record again. You can see about the 35-second mark, you started to see something on screen. And of course, SolidWorks is still retrieving the rest of this. You can see the SolidWorks bar down there at the lower left. So Upchain has basically done its job already. It's delivered the files, and now SolidWorks is kind of doing its final preparation before we kind of start to work with this. So we'll give it just a couple more seconds. All right, so basically just a little bit after the 1 minute mark, we're able to start using this guy. Let me go ahead and pull up the performance evaluator so you can see how many components are in this. Oh, we'll dump that to HTML. 1 second. Okay, there we go. In SolidWorks, sometimes that performance window doesn't want to show. So here's the assembly. You can see about 10,000 components. Okay, and so if we come back to the plugin, now notice over here on the right, I can refresh. Okay, let me do that one more time just so you see how fast that is. So that's called a root refresh, which basically refreshes this top level structure here, and we use that a lot when we're dealing with large assemblies. Okay, now notice that as I click objects in the plugin, they highlight on screen as well as in the tree at the left of the screen in SolidWorks. And if I click things in the tree, of course, they highlight on screen in the main window, and they also highlight in the plugin at the far right. So you can see there is a tight integration between the plugin and the CAD tool itself. So I'm going to pause, and we'll reset our test to do the even larger assembly. Okay, recording again. We're just going to basically do the same test. I'm going to start SolidWorks from scratch. And we're just going to log in again. And we're going to activate the same project, the Large Assembly SolidWorks project. Go to our BOM viewer here. Now, the one we opened a moment ago was the big SolidWorks assembly. Now we're going to open the really big, which again just is the same one 10 times over. I'm going to click open. Going to set our timer, and I'll pause recording for a moment. Okay, recording again. You can see we're at about the 50-second mark there this time when we start to see something on screen. And as you might expect, it's going to take SolidWorks a little longer to kind of process this before before we can actually start using it here. Now, a couple things to note. When you check out or open something from Upchain and pull it down into a CAD system like SolidWorks, we also support CATIA, Inventor, Creo, and NX. But when you grab CAD files and you bring them down, it caches them on your local hard drive. And so the more things you work with, the faster and faster your assemblies will open, because Upchain is smart enough that if the object has been cached locally, it knows to grab that object off of your local cache. And in fact, that's what you're seeing here with these assemblies, because I've worked with these guys before. Upchain is smart enough to get what it needs out of that local cache. If things are out of date, then of course you'll have to download the latest and greatest. But if they're not, and if the timestamp is the same as what Upchain's got in the database, then it'll grab that out of your local cache, and you'll get that really, really super fast performance, which you're seeing here. We're pulling up literally 100,000 objects on screen in about 2 minutes. It looks like it's just about ready to give us back the wheel, and there we go. Okay, and again for this one, you can see I literally just took that 10,000 part assembly and copied it, or just pasted it in here 10 times, and of course we get nice performance. But at this point, it's really all about SolidWorks. But I can indeed zoom in, get more detail on these components. Right, everything's very, very detailed. You can even see the springs and things like that in there. Again, note the nice performance. Now, the performance evaluator, let me go ahead and pull that up. It probably won't repaint the screen. I'm not sure if that's something specific to my hardware here. But it does, again, let me save those out to HTML. So let me show you that. Now, before I do that, note the name of the file. Okay, it's assembly 3230. So if we go out to the HTML file that I've saved out here, let me collapse some of this so you can see better. Right there, you can see we're at about the 100,000 mark, right? And so you can see we're still getting very nice performance. With everything. If we look over here on the right and we do the root refresh to refresh the top level structure there, virtually instantaneous when we hit that refresh button. Again, notice that if I click things, select things in the plugin, they highlight on screen and at the left in the tree. Again, conversely, if I select in the tree, they highlight on screen and they highlight in the plugin at right. So hopefully that gives you a good feel for large assembly performance in Upchain, and gives you the confidence that we can handle assemblies that have hundreds of thousands of components. Thanks.